Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant. One question I regularly get asked is about the graphics mods I use for Elite Dangerous. Now I have made a graphics modifications video previously, and most of what I put in that video still applies today, but I wanted to do an update as well as give you some graphical examples of some of the mods that I've actually used over the past. The mod I'm using in all my current videos is EDFX, and this is what I'm showing at the moment. It's got two profiles built into it, and I'll get to them in just a moment. Another popular mod is ReShade. You can get a variety of profiles for that as well. This is the Insomnia profile by Insomnia from the Elite Dangerous forums. You can see a link to that in the video description. And this here is SweetFX. Now each of these mods have quite a significant variation in their appearance, and added to that you can of course have different profiles which changes the appearance even more. I used the SweetFX profile for a very long time and really do enjoy the colours that one has. Now keep in mind the version of the game I'm using here is just for the base version of Elite Dangerous. This isn't for Horizons, and although I do use graphic mods in Horizons, I will do a separate video on that, as the graphical modifications can have quite a drastic effect on the appearance of planets. Now for instructions on how to install SweetFX and ReShade, do check out the other original video I made. I'll link that in the video description. I think I only covered the installation of SweetFX or ReShade on that. I can't remember which one, but it's only one of them. But the same instructions will apply to both graphic injectors. I'll also link to a variety of forum posts which will contain a whole wealth of information and instructions for you. The main purpose for this video really then is to allow you to see the difference between the various graphics mods. Now Insomnia actually changed a graphics file configuration change, which is what allowed for the change in the galactic core there. I'm not sure if that still works, so you will have to check out the forum thread, but hopefully it does work if you like that type of graphical appearance. The interstellar profile here can look a little bit bright, but with EDFX there's a whole bunch of graphical options you can change within the program itself, and I'm not going to cover those in this particular video, but we'll do another video in the future where I'll cover those. Now there is another graphical injector called GemFX, and I haven't covered that in this video, but I believe it does form a part of the EDFX package. Now in some cases you may find that the effects are a little bit overdone. In some locations the bloom and the brightness can be a little bit excessive, but by the same token some people do enjoy that. And if you do go through the variety of graphics mods, you'll hopefully find one that actually suits your tastes. It is also possible to adjust the profiles so that the levels aren't quite so blown out in some areas. Once again, the information in the forums should help you do that. Now with all of these graphic injectors you can enable them and disable them at will, which is what I'm doing in the videos here. They all have their own keybind. Some of them it's page up or page down, and with EDFX it's just scroll lock. If you're wondering whether or not Frontier are okay with these mods, they're perfectly fine and acceptable to use within the game. Frontier have no problem with them, as they don't alter the way the game works in any way. Essentially these graphic injectors are processor modifications. They just basically add an overlay to the graphics after all the game engine stuff has done its work. They don't actually change any of their rendering process itself. As I mentioned early on, I am using the EDFX mod, and I'm using the interstellar profile with that in all my videos you've seen across the past few months. In regards to Horizons, occasionally the EDFX interstellar profile can be very bright down on certain planetary surfaces, but in those cases I simply use a scroll lock button to disable the mod and then re-enable it again when I'm away from those bright areas. Even with its default colours, Elite Dangerous is actually a very pretty game, but I feel that these graphics mods give it that extra little boost. There are however some graphical changes coming to Elite in patch 2.1, so we'll have to revisit this again when that comes out. But for now, these graphics mods are a really good place to start, and I hope these various examples I've shown here give you some insight as to what graphics mods you would like to use, if any. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. For a while now in my videos I've been using some somewhat tweaked graphics, and I've been asked how I do that, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how that is done. But before we do go and do that, sit back and take a look at what we're trying to achieve.